All right, your project that you're going to work on this week, and I may even give you a little bit of time next week to finish up, depending on how quickly we move. You're going to be working on your animation project. Um, it's not as if you're going to have to write code or anything. There's 2 or 3 different apps you can use to create your animation project with, and we'll take a look at those later on, but right now I'm just going to go over the project with you. Remember, the class website is at demactivitiesandassignments.weebly.com. This is where everything is. And this time I will send you the files, but also you can find them on this website. And if we just scroll all the way down here to Animation Project and Stories right here, I've already downloaded this file on the screen, and we're going to take a look at that. All right, your animation project. This is going to be due on or before your semester exam, but I'm probably going to change that. I would really like to have this by no later than the middle of next week. So that would be, let's see, today's the 15th. About the 24th of May is when I really want you to have this turned in. May 24th. It's a Wednesday. So that way it gives you time to get all of that done. And we'll talk about the other assignments that you had. You guys were in here on Friday. Did you take care of the reflections for 17 and 18? And there were some other little Nearpods for you to do.
We tried.
You tried? You got some of them done?
No.
Okay. All right. Those Nearpods, we're not going to take extra class time like a whole day to work on it. I'm just going to tell you, your animation project is going to be our priority, but those other things need to be done as well, but you probably have to take care of them on your off time in here. All right, your animation project is this. You're going to choose a fairy tale, tall tale, historic event, Shakespeare play, or myth you would like to remake and update. The files are posted on the DEM Activities and Projects website, so you can download the story you want to use. You're going to complete what's called a Z-chart. I'm going to show you what a Z-chart looks like. And here's a Z-chart right here. I will also show you how to create one in class. We'll read a story together and make the Z-chart on it so that you'll understand how it works. You're going to take this Z-chart and you're going to create a storyboard out of it. So if you'll notice on the Z-chart, there's room for 5 key facts, events, or ideas. And then on your storyboard, you have 5 key frames. So you're going to take each one of those, and that's where you're going to tell how you're going to tell the story. All right. Let's see. You'll complete your Z-chart, and you'll turn that in. Then you'll take the Z-chart and turn it into a storyboard and turn that in as well. You will use your storyboard to create a Powtoon, Go Animate, or you can make a video. It doesn't matter to me how you present it. But whatever it is, it needs to be one of these things so it can play like a little movie. And I will show you Powtoon, I will show you Go Animate, and if you're choosing to make a video out of it, I will try to give you access to Camtasia or something like that that you can use in order to do it. I think we have some free trials over here, but I make no promises about that. You will use a combination of graphics, dialogue, text, and music. You have to have all of those things in there. There is no maximum number of slides. Use the number of slides you need to tell your story. Here's a big hint. You have 5 major events and 5 storyboard spaces, so you're going to need at least 5 slides to tell your story, at least 5 sections to tell it well. You're going to give your Powtoon a slide for credits. Requirements are as follows. List yourself as the editor or producer, not the author. You didn't write these stories that you're going to use. You're adapting them. Now, you could put on there adapted by and then put your name. And I'm thinking very seriously of allowing you to do this in a group. I think you'll have a better project if you can work together on it. So I'm pretty much I'm a fan of doing this one in a group, so we will probably do that. You need to make a catchy title for your remake. And I'll give you an example. How many of you saw the movie Beastly?
No.
You didn't see that one with, what's her name?
Jennifer Aniston?
No,
No,
Selena Gomez?
No, it's Vanessa Hudgens.
Vanessa Hudgens, you are correct. It's Vanessa Hudgens. And it's a remake of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yes, it is a remake of Beauty and the Beast. And they have updated it, and instead of him living in a castle, his dad's just a very wealthy and well-known man who is a reporter, and he's a very privileged young man, and they go to an exclusive high school. So, it's Beauty and the Beast, updated, remade, and the catchy title they chose for it was Beastly. So, again, you should watch this movie. It's a really good one. You should check it out. All right. Make sure it has your name and class period on it, and we'll talk more about how to put those in your credits and things like that. Now, when you see movies in the theater, sometimes there are some credits and introductions at the beginning of the movie. Sometimes it goes straight into the movie and they're all at the end. So you can choose where you want those. I don't care if you put them at the beginning, the end, or mix them up. It doesn't matter to me. But you do have to have credits. You're making a movie. You're making an animated project. All right? Now, before we move on to the next section, are there any questions to this point? Something you don't understand that we're doing with this? All right. Next, let's see. We talked about the Z chart. We talked about the storyboard. All right, let's go back to the website. I'm going to tell you some of the stories that you have to pick from. They're all right here where it says, here's the Greek mythology stories. You have Arachne and Athena, Atalanta, Cupid and Psyche, Daedalus and Icarus, Greek gods and goddesses. That just kind of goes over several of them. King Midas, Orpheus and Eurydice, Pandora, Persephone and Demeter, Perseus and Medusa, Phaeton and Apollo. Some of you guys might like that one. Pygmalion, and let's see, who else? Theseus and the Minotaur. That's a good one. And then the Trojan War. Now, if you'll notice, these are just stories. They're in different formats than these right here. These are the same things because for the Greek mythology ones, I have two that go with each set of characters. These are plays, and these are just stories. I'll show you what they look like. In order to get to them, let's just look at this one about Arachne and Athena. You just click here where it says download file. It works better on Google Chrome. Now, on these, when you download them to look at them, here's something you need to pay attention to. These stories like this. All right, here's page 1. What page does this say? 3. Okay, these pages were designed to be copied front to back, cut apart, and put into a book. So when you read these stories like this, you have to pay attention to the page numbers. This is page 1. Here's page 2. And then go back up here to page 3 because technically they would have been copied front to back, cut apart, and then you would have them in order. And then page 4. This is going to be really important on any of these stories like this because if you read them out of order, they're not going to make sense. But since we are paperless in here, I'm not going to make copies of these. You just need to pay attention to the page numbers. All right. That's how the stories look. The plays look a little bit different. Again, these are just single page things, and these are kind of already updated a little bit with their language and things like that. So you might want to read through the play about it to kind of see some ideas of how you would update yours. Now, you don't have to do it exactly like they do. You could talk about Athena and Arachne, I don't know, you could put them in space if you wanted to. You could put them on a submarine. You could put them in a high school setting. You could put them somewhere else in the world than in Greece. It doesn't matter. You're remaking it, you're adapting it, and you're updating it. Let's see. All right, so those are the Greek plays and stories that you have to pick from. That's mythology. Now, Shakespeare is here. We have Hamlet, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, King Lear, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, Romeo and Juliet, and The Tempest. Now, these are delivered in the same format as those first stories. So, definitely, if you choose one of these Shakespeare plays, definitely pay attention to the page numbers. All right, here's page 1, here's page 2, then page 3, page 4, and then the next set of pages will do the same thing. Does everybody understand how the page numbers work and why they are that way? Okay? I wasn't trying to confuse you. This is just the easiest way to get them on here. Now notice for the Romeo and Juliet. Notice for the Shakespeare plays that you have a play and you have a page that just has some information about the play to help you understand it. So you have a little bit of extra resources for those. All right, tall tales. These work exactly the same as those other stories. We have Alfred Bulltop Storm Along, and I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of this tall tale before. So it's that would be interesting for me to see somebody redo that one. Davy Crockett, Fiebolds, I've never heard of that one either. Joe Magarac, I've heard of John Henry, Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan, Pecos Bill, Sam Patch, Gib Morgan, Mose Humphreys, Slewfoot Sue, and Pecos Bill. Now, tall tales are typically things that they're not believable, but they're things that developed mainly from our American history culture. If you'll notice, these are things that mainly took place here, like during the times when they were settling and things like that. American history events. If you're not a big fan of stories, these are some comic book pages that deal with different events in American history. We've got America's Immigrants, Benjamin Franklin, the Boston Tea Party, the California Gold Rush, Computers and the Internet, Constitution and the Bill of Rights, Henry Ford, Lewis and Clark, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, Pilgrims of Plymouth, the Race to the Moon, and Women's Rights. So let's just take a look at one of these. Let's look right here at Lewis and Clark. Again, these are comic book pages. You'll just read through them. And this guy travels in time and he goes back and he talks to these people and gets information about these events. Again, comic book pages. Not a lot of dialogue on there, but enough for you to get the general idea of what happened. So there's something in here for everyone. If you are not a fan of fiction, we have history for you. Down here we have some music, and we'll talk more about how to download that music later on. Files that you can use. Now, it says you may download and use one of the following files for your animation project if you do not already have music of your own. Please be respectful of the intellectual property of others. You may only download the music for the purposes of use on this project. You may not download any of these for your personal collection of music. Please delete the file from your computer or other electronic device after you upload it to your project. So once you have this into your project, whatever piece of music, and these are all just instrumental beats. There's no words on these. Now, if you have something else that you want to use, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Make sure that if you put music on it with lyrics, though, that the lyrics are not interfering with your presentation. You want to make sure that you have them down low enough that you can hear the music, but we also want to hear your presentation. Let's see. I think that's all the files for the animation project. Are there any questions on the animation project as far as we've gotten at this point? Does it make sense? Is it fairly clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do now, first of all, I'm going to stop this video.